right. If you're not sitting, go ahead and sit, please. Okay, so does anyone know if there is like a certain holiday coming up kind of soon? Okay, Emma. Thanksgiving. Did anyone have any other answers rather than oh my gosh. What? Okay, Grant, what's the other one? Christmas, yes. Eva? Advent, yes. Advent, that is so appropriate for you to say. Any others? Birthdays, oh my gosh, that's a huge one. You're gonna, 2 birthdays? Oh my gosh, well that is fantastic. I kind of have an idea of why that might be the case. 2 birthdays over there. Oh, okay, well now that, okay, I get that. Interesting. Well, okay, so we've got this holiday coming up, Thanksgiving, right? Does anyone know what day it is? Yeah, Eva? It is not quite the 27th. What about just like a day? What day is it in the week? Thursday. That's right, Harper. It's Thursday. So on Thursday, does anyone have like a certain tradition that they do when they have Thanksgiving at their house? Do you talk about things you're thankful for? Yeah, Grant? Do y'all do something? What do y'all do? You do food and family. Food and family. Okay. Does anyone here happen to talk about things that they're really thankful for? Grant, what about you? Grandmas, you're really thankful for grandmas? All right, what else do you guys often say that you're thankful for? Yeah, Harper? Parents, so these are some great answers. Aoife? Your mom? Oh my gosh, what about your dad? Okay, and him too. What else? Friends, absolutely. Emma? Family, okay, so these are some great things. So if someone came to you, I'm gonna ask you one more question. If somebody came to you and said, like, what's one thing that you are so grateful for that you can't help but share it? What would that be? Eva? God, you wanna share God? Okay, well, Eva, you took the cake there. Grant? Jesus? Grant, you wanna share Jesus? Wow, these are kind of the it answers. What else? What else you are so grateful for that you can't help but share it? Eva? The breath of life. Wow, the breath of life? I want everyone to know that's what was said just now. Emma? Church? Absolutely. Church is pretty great too, right? Okay, so that's the thing that kind of we talk about this morning, and it seems a little strange that God, in this parable that we just read in the gospel, that God or the person, the slave master, right? He's a pretty intense guy, right? He says he gives these different people some talents, and what he's really saying is not, I want you to make more talents, but what he's saying is, I'm giving you these great, good things, these things, right? Like the things that we get to enjoy. And he's saying what? What do you think he's trying to say by saying, bring more to me? I'm giving you these things, but I want even more. Yeah, Aoife. Give thanks to God, right? Because why? Because he's giving you so many gifts. That's right, Aoife. Give thanks to God. And how do we give thanks to God? Yeah. We praise him. Do we ever do things? What are some of the things that you guys do to give thanks to God? Yeah. We count our blessings. How do you guys act sometimes when you give thanks to God? Yeah? Joyful, that's right. Grant, how do you act when you're thankful? Happy, that's right. Are you maybe particularly loving towards certain people because you're so thankful? Yeah, that's right. All right, so you guys, on the count of 3, you're totally prepped for Thanksgiving now when the answers come up or the questions come up. I want you to say, who gives you the very best things? Do you guys, I heard it already. Do we know who gives us who provides us with the very best things to be thankful for? Okay, on the count of 3, I want you all to hear it. So these people know what to give thanks for, okay? All right, 1, 2, 3. job, guys. All right. Well, you guys have been given a cheat sheet to what you need to say you're thankful for come Thanksgiving if you're gathering with people and the question comes up. Thanks to our really wise children here at St. Thomas. So, aside from that, I've been reflecting a good bit more recently on the idea of children, not just our children, but children in my household. I've been reflecting about whether or not it's a worthwhile venture. Yeah, I know. You're probably thinking like, I get to see them so briefly. I'm like, oh, they're so lovely and wonderful, So it's worthwhile to discern whether or not growing our family is something we really want to do. And I'm sure it seems like second nature to some of you. Now, I'm 37, and I'm pretty set in my ways. I've had 37 years to do pretty much whatever I want. Aside from going to work and the other adult things that we have to do. So you might understand why I feel a little bit more hesitant before I jump into something that totally wrecks my lovely idea of doing whatever I get to do on a regular basis. And of course, then we have to ask ourselves, is this a place where we want to bring children? It seems like the world can be pretty harsh. And also social media seems to take things and turn them from a 3 to a 10 on the scale of, intensity. And then of course I think about, the demands of my time. I already feel like there's a constant pressure day in and day out to be there for something, to do something, to be on. And I wonder, how do modern day parents do this? How do they hold jobs and work nights and be good parents? It is no small task to discern this. And then I turn when I'm at home with my wonderful spouse, and I look at this wonderful husband of mine, at least when he's not watching professional wrestling. Yeah, because y'all know about that. And he is so warm, and he is so funny, and he's full of all the good things life has to offer. And I reflect on the life that emanates from our home, from our life together. And all I want to do is share that life with others, to share the joyful, hilarious moments, to enjoy delicious meals together, to learn together, and also to share each other's burdens, so that in all of this, when we leave our household, we go out into the world to be a blessing to others. So this is the continuing thought that I've been ruminating on. If we have something incredible, aren't we called to share it? Now, I've moved on, and I'm not necessarily talking about the fullness of my marriage and the fullness of our lives together, but more so the fullness of life that we receive through our relationship to God through Jesus Christ. You don't have to necessarily have a great marriage, the ideal job, tons of money to enjoy the gift of grace that we have been given by God in Christ. There are no conditions. There are no qualifications other than a willingness to be convicted by the Spirit and follow where it leads. In the end, we are all slaves, all of us who have received talents, just like those in the gospel. Now, but rather than receive monetary currency as Christians, we have received a currency of grace, currency that God has gifted us with a very specific intention, just as with the slaves. And now God operates with an intention, a certain order, always. Sometimes we find ourselves hoping that the order God operates within is very specific to each of us as individuals, a perfect plan for each of us. Rather, Now, God has created us with a more general intention of spreading grace. For in spreading grace, we also spread goodwill, patience, generosity, kindness, and all the other things that build up God's creation. God has gifted us with an intention to spread our grace in order that we might continue to grow in our community. And then I wonder, how often do we consider what we have been gifted when the opportunity to give arises in our lives? And I don't necessarily mean financially, though if you feel so called, no one is going to take that or not accept that, especially here at the church. But rather, what I'm really getting at is giving your time, giving your attention to others in order that your family, perhaps, or your parish community, or your nation continues to flourish. As we often say in the prayer attributed to St. Francis, it is in giving that we receive. And that is what is at the heart of the parable of the slaves and their talents. So, for the slave gifted the single talent, even if it is a single talent, and then to hide it away as if this very good thing, every little grace that we are shown, is something that is not worth sharing with others. When we hide that wonderful thing away, a gift of goodness and grace that seemingly makes very little difference in our lives, it produces nothing. It is not shown to the community or shared to the community. And that is the sting of this parable. That God intends for us to share all goodness, all the little graces and the big graces that mount up in our lives. And now, of course, that Thanksgiving is by no means a Christian holiday, which I didn't tell to the kids, but it's fine. Hopefully they'll get it. But I hope you all know. But even though it's not a Christian holiday, I think it does offer us an opportunity to consider all the graces, all the good things, the people, the events, the moments in our lives that bring us life, that bring us joy and peace. Peace not only in the good times, but also in the hard times. Not only for the purpose of giving thanks to God for these joyful things, these good things, but also it is a reminder to give thanks to God for these good things that God offers to us through divine relationship. A reminder of how much grace we have yet to offer the world. And yet, whatever precious time we have in this world. I realize that many of you have children, and in those joyous moments where you thought, how can we keep the goodness, the life, the joy that pours out of our household to ourselves? When you're in that moment thinking these things as you discerned whether or not to grow your household, I ask that you consider that this be the same conversation that you have when you consider all that God has gifted to you, all the grace that has been poured into your life. May we keep God's gift of grace in our hearts and minds as we continue to press on towards God's great intention for all of us, namely an intention of good, full, grace-filled life for all of us.